Hi, my name is Norm Zadeh. I just published a book on Amazon called Hold'em Poker Super Strategy that I'm very proud of. One of the things I did in that book was to create very accurate strategies for opening, calling, and raising before the flop and for play after the flop. What I've done here is I pulled some tables from the book to illustrate what I found. Table 4.2 is my opening requirements table. It was computed under the assumption that the player was opening for 2.5 times the big blind. The position row represents the number of players to act after the opener. So position 8 means that the player is actually first to act in a 9-handed game, and he's got 8 players to act after he does. In that situation, I computed the minimum opening hands to be ace jack or equivalent, or 7-7 or equivalent or better. With 5 players to act after the opener, the requirements were less. They were ace 9 or better equivalent, or deuce deuce. The next thing I did was to make sure that I did not make any serious errors. I looked to see how top players did when they opened with substantially weaker hands than I recommended. One of the shows that I studied, which was very entertaining, was high stakes poker. And I specifically looked at the first year's shows and some of the second year's shows, and that show was filmed in 2006. And I specifically only looked at hands where the top player was opening with a substantially weaker hand than what I recommend. For example, these results occurred when the player was in position 7, which means there were 7 players to act after that player. And according to my computations, they needed at least ace 10 or better, or 7-7 or better. But here you have Phil Hellmuth opening with ace 4 offsuit, ace 6 offsuit, and you have Negreanu opening with ace 3 suited, which isn't quite that bad, and Hellmuth with ace 6 offsuit, and Farhar with ace 4 offsuit. It's interesting to note that in every instance, the opener lost with that hand. So that was one set of results. And then to expand on my data set, I looked at another set of hands, this time from Super High Roller Bowls, which were more recent shows. And because of the ante structure in the Super High Roller Bowl, the requirements were a little bit less. So I didn't look at like ace X small. I looked at even weaker hands. But once again, the results were not very good when players opened with substantially less than what they should have. I should also point out that there were not all that many instances of players opening with bad hands. It's possible that they were just doing this to vary their play, but it's nevertheless notable that when they did that, they did not do well. The next thing I did was I looked to see how players did when they deviated from my recommended calling strategies. And I made sure that the tables were fairly detailed so that people could actually go back to the show and see exactly where I found the hand and verify that my conclusion as to how many blinds were won or lost was correct. And I also looked at the same situation in the Super High Roller Bowl, where actually the losses were not as bad as they were in high stakes poker. The ultimate conclusion was summarized in this table here, which shows how top players did when they deviated substantially from my opening and calling recommendations. They had 42 wins, 144 losses, and lost a total of 1,311 big blinds. Thank you.